everybody, welcome back. This is the final video of Unit 3, Biopsychology from the OpenStax textbook. My name is Prescott. I'm here with Psychcinct, Succinct Psychology, and we're going to continue from where we left off. Last time we were just going through all different parts of the brain, lobes, what they do, all that cool stuff, and so we're going to continue going through that because there's a lot of parts in the brain, so it's very in-depth here. So, starting off, we have the occipital lobe, which is associated with visual processing. It contains the primary visual cortex, which is responsible for interpreting incoming visual information, and is organized retinotopically. So here, occipital lobe, remember, back of your head, kind of. So, starting next, we have the thalamus. So thalamus serves as the relay center of the brain where most senses, excluding smell, are routed before being directed to other areas of the brain for processing. So the thalamus serves as the relay center for the brain, or most are center for processing. Next, we have the limbic system. So the limbic system is involved in mediating emotional response and memory. It is made up of a number of different structures, some of the most important ones being the amygdala, which is involved in our experience of emotion and tying emotional meaning to our memories, involved in processing fear, the hippocampus, which is the structure associated with learning and memory, in particular spatial memory, and then the hypothalamus, which regulates homeostatic processes, including body temperature, appetite, and blood pressure. So you can see where each of those are, and the way I remember these is amygdala. There's a game I played before where there's this big, scary spider monster thing called an amygdala. And so I'm like, oh, amygdala is a big, scary monster. Amygdala is involved in processing fear, and I have that memory, that emotional memory of being like, oh, that's kind of spooky. So that's your amygdala. Hippocampus, which is learning and memory, and you can think of it as if you ever saw hippos on campus, you would remember that. And then hypothalamus, which one of my professors told me is like hypo the llamas or something, because processes body temperature and your appetite and blood pressure, so you're hypoing the llamas, whatever that means. So those are the limbic system. And again, we have another nice picture of the limbic system. Next, we have the midbrain. That's weird, I don't know why that's saying. So the midbrain is made up of the reticular formation, which is important in regulating the sleep-wake cycle, arousal, alertness, and motor activity. The substantia nigra, where dopamine is produced, involved in control of movement, and the ventral tegmental area, VTA, where dopamine is produced. Again, that's learning, memory, mood, and is associated with mood, reward, and addiction. So degeneration of the substantia nigra, and VTA is involved in Parkinson's disease. So you have the substantia and the VTA. So degeneration of that is what leads to Parkinson's, and Parkinson's is not a fun thing to have. So here again, you can see where they're located in the midbrain. Next, we have the hindbrain. So the hindbrain is made of the medulla, which controls automated processes like breathing, blood pressure, and heart rate. The pons, which connects the brain and the spinal cord, is involved in regulating brain activity during sleep. The cerebellum, which controls our balance, coordination, movement, and motor skills, and it is thought to be important in the processing of some types of memory. So these three structures combined are known as the brainstem. So here you can see, again on the picture, you have the pons, medulla, and cerebellum. So this is what your brainstem is made up of. Once again, more zoomed in pictures, so you can see a little bit better. So that's the hindbrain. So going on, we're going to go into brain imaging. So first off, we have computerized tomography, or CT scan. So you can just say CT scan, you don't have to say computerized tomography. That's a lot to say. It involves x-rays and creates an image through x-rays passing through varied densities within the brain. So a CT scan can be used to show brain tumors. So here we have some figures. So a CT scan can be used to show brain tumors. So figure A is the CT scan. The image on the left shows a healthy brain, whereas the image on the right indicates a brain tumor in the left frontal lobe. So you can see here, this is a nice healthy brain, but you can see this abnormality right here. That's a tumor. So CT scans are good for finding those and, helping you fix them, basically, knowing there's something to be fixed. So next we have positron emission tomography scans, or PET. So a PET scan is helpful for showing activity in different parts of the brain. As you can see here, it involves injecting individuals with a mildly radioactive substance and monitoring changes in blood flow to different regions in the brain. A PET scan is helpful for showing activity in different parts of the brain. So here you can see what a PET scan looks like. Next, we have MRI and an fMRI. So an MRI is magnetic resonance imaging. So magnetic fields are used to produce a picture of the tissue being imaged. And a functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, is an MRI that shows changes in metabolic activity over time. So MRI is just like a picture of the image, whereas, my mouse is acting over here. So just a straight picture of the image, while an fMRI is showing activity over time. So it's not just one image. So this image represents a single frame from an fMRI. So you can see it shows activity in the brain, but this is just one frame. Normally it shows over time how the brain is activated. Next we have an electroencephalography. I think I said that right. Or EEG to make it a bit easier. So it involves recording the electrical activity of the brain via electrodes on the scalp. Using cats with electrodes, modern EEG research can study the precise timing of overall brain activities by tracking amplitude and frequency of brain waves. So here you see a picture, electrodes on the brain, well, not on the brain, but on the head, so they can track, amplitude and frequency of your brain waves. And he's completing a task so they can measure all that good stuff. So the endocrine system is a series of glands that produce hormones to regulate normal bodily functions. The hypothalamus links the nervous system and endocrine system by controlling the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland serves as the master gland, controlling the secretions of all other glands. The thyroid secretes thyroxine, which regulates growth, metabolism, and appetite. Adrenal gland secretes hormones involved in the stress response. Gonad, they secrete sex hormones, which are important for successful reproduction and regulate sexual motivation and behavior. And then you have pancreas, which secretes hormones that regulate blood sugar. So here you have a nice little image showing where these different parts of your endocrine system are. You have pineal gland up here, it's like right here in your brain, thalamus, pituitary gland. You have the thymus, thyroids, adrenal glands. You can kind of see for yourself. You don't need me to break down everything for you. So yeah, major glands of the endocrine system are shown here. And finally, we're going to just have a little reminder of the major neurotransmitters and how they affect behavior. So going down the list, we have acetylcholine, which is involved in muscle action and memory. And potential effect on behavior is it can lead to increased arousal and enhanced cognition. Beta-endorphin, which is involved in pain and pleasure, and it can have an effect on behavior by decreasing anxiety and decreasing tension. Dopamine, mood, sleep, and learning, and potential effect is increased pleasure and suppressed appetite. Then gamma aminobutyric acid, or GABA, which is brain function and sleep, and is decreased anxiety and decreased tension. Then you have glutamate, which is memory and learning, and it can affect your behavior by giving increased learning and enhanced memory. Then norepinephrine, which is your heart, intestines, and alertness, and it can affect your arousal and suppress your appetite. And finally, serotonin, which is mood and sleep, and the potential effect is a modulated mood and a suppressed appetite. So that's a nice list of neurotransmitters. If you want to study, you can come to this slide, just a quick reminder of the different neurotransmitters and what they're involved in and their potential effect on behavior. So, that was a much longer unit than I think the other ones we've done so far, but I hope you guys found it interesting. All this, different lobes and parts and neurotransmitters in the brain can be a little much to remember right off the bat. but hopefully, little insights I gave will be helpful in remembering all this stuff. And, can always just keep coming back and watching these videos. And that is all for Unit 3, Biopsychology. We will continue Unit 4 next time, or not continue, but start Unit 4 next time. Again, my name is Prescott. I'm here at Psychcinct, Succinct Psychology. This is the OpenStax textbook, and I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.